search of Papa. All spiritual teachers are revered equally. Papa says, Ramdas had realized the unity of all religions, and his love and admiration go out to all the spiritual teachers equally. He is at once the servant of the Almighty and a child of saints. How blissful it is to feel and be conscious of this truth. So far as man can sweep his thought into the earliest origins of the history of mankind, he cannot fail to observe all through its course a galaxy of souls standing out as distinctly different in nature, temperament and vision for the common run of human beings. These are the saints and sages, avatars and prophets of the world. The outlook of these unique souls upon the life of the world is discovered to be of a rare value and significance, while the human beings in general are possessed only of the individualistic view of life. These renowned souls are gifted with a universal sense which clearly reflects in all their thoughts, words and actions. Thus the vision and mission of every individual saint in different places is to guide those who contact them and enable them to progress fast in their spiritual life. So all of them are revered. In their own way. Though the end and aim of all spiritual discipline converge into one, the methods employed by them are apparently different. When somebody has reached the heights and view it from that angle, they know that everybody is trying to reach the same thing in their own unique way. Every such saint or sages or evolved souls is to be adored, revered, respected. That is how Papa looks at it. It is not one, structured path. If it is a structured path, there need not be so many Mahatmas. One Mahatma can guide us, this is the way to reach. Enough. As many men, so many are the paths. So every one of us, when we try to progress on the spiritual path, we have to follow our own. How do we know what is our own? So we approach the saints, their teachings, their life, and then we come to know they have employed different methods. So we also try some of the methods suggested by them. And as we keep on traveling, we find the result is not much encouraging. There we make amends, and then we try to chalk out our own path. When we go back to the biographies of any saint, we have not heard much about Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's Guru. We have not heard much of Swami Shivanji Maharaj's Guru. Similarly, we would not have heard much of them. They draw inspiration from them, they drew inspiration from them, and they started their own. Anybody. And those who have come out as the disciples, or chief disciples of such saints, you will find their method is also unique. For example, we will find Swami Vivekananda did not follow what Paramahamsa Gurudev was doing. He did not go to any temple for Kali Puja or anything like that. Everywhere there is a difference. Papa in fact did not have any guru at all. When he took initiation from his father, then he mentioned that he started treating him as his guru, but not in the conventional way of staying with the guru, asking him so many questions. Never, never. He was satisfied with that one single advice. Constantly you chant, you will get peace. And later on he also added the mantra with Om, and his path was absolutely unique. When we take to Puja Mataji's, we may think she was following. No. Broadly, yes. But her path was also quite different. In 2.5 years, when she scaled the heights, she took the rudimentaries from Papa's philosophy. But her revelations, when we go through Guru Kripa, we find it is not exactly like Papa. And Puja Swamiji, we also know, he carved out a different path. From the bottom of our heart, God has revealed Himself in a unique way through this saint. Just like He has revealed in His own way in ourselves. That's what Papa feels. And Puja Mataji was also very, very particular. Puja Swamiji was once explaining to us that the revered Shankaracharya of Kanchi, Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal, on those days, must have been in mid-70s, he was passing through the main national highway. On those days there were restrictions in the mutt that they would not visit the ashram where there are samadhis. And ashram, does not go and invite anybody. Mataji holds the view that this ashram is open for all. Just like it is open for all devotees, it is open for all saints. So we don't go out and then invite anybody here. But at the same time, when Mataji came to know that Shankaracharya, Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal was passing through our Mavangal, Ramnagar, she asked Puja Swami Sachidanand Ji to go there with flowers, with fruits, everything, and requested every devotee to go and be there and have his darshan. She said this is a unique opportunity given to us. They are all great tapasvins to the land. So when they are passing through, to have their darshan means it's a great boon. So everybody was asked to go. When we were going through the old vision, mentioning elaborately about this, Mataji was full of joy to motivate people from ashram to go there and stand there and wait for the Swami and offer him and then go. Probably it might be Mataji Sankalpa, we don't know. Later on in late 90s or early 2000, the same Swami was in Yadnir Mutt. So when we went and invited him, you are passing through that, can you please come? Why not? Ananda Ashram, I will come. So we told Swamiji, there are 2 samadhis there. I will not look at it, I will come like this. And Swami came. He did not stand on any formalities. We did not know how to do and what to do because we don't have any traditional way of receiving. He also did not stand. In all other places there is a traditional way of receiving him with Purna Kumbham, with mantras, or so many things, But as soon as he got up from the vehicle, he just walked. He was carrying a stool. He put that stool. He told me, yes, you welcome me now. All the people were sitting. Then after a few words, he straight away started talking. The Mahima of Ramnam and Mahima of Anandashram. And then his junior also shared some views. Then immediately he left. We were remembering both. There was a time when he was passing through and Swamiji was asked to go and offer. But here now, when we requested, he came all the way and he did not go anywhere. Their tradition is there. They don't go. But he came to respect our sentiments. He came, he just sat there in the Panchavadi and then went back. So why we are sharing all these things, the ashram, Papa gives a lot of importance. There is one more thing. You might all have heard about J. Krishnamurti. He was also a revolutionary sage, a radical sage. His approach has been totally unconventional. Absolutely. And he used to bluntly differ with the Guru Do. But you can find JK's photo in Anandashram. Probably in JK Center we may not see. Sometime during 2004 or 5 or 6, we don't exactly remember, when we were in Chennai in Vasanta Vihar, we stayed in JK Center for 3 days. It was a wonderful experience. So after we came back, inspired by him, they gave us a lot of books also. To them it was a surprise because a Swami wearing ochre robes, going and staying in Vasanta Vihar. They were very friendly, very kind. And when we went there to buy their books, they refused to accept money and they gave a lot of books. So one book is called Meditation. It has been brought out so nicely that in every page you will find a lot of space. That means after going through a particular page, what is needed is to pause for a moment, try to do some reflection before we go to the next. So inspired by that idea, we were also prompted by Papa to bring out a small booklet called Inward Journey, culling out certain portions from different books of Papa on the various facets of Inward Journey. When the entire thing was prepared, Swamiji was not well at that time. So we went and told Swamiji. We were in Chennai for 3 days in JK Center. And it's a wonderful experience. Inspired by that, we have now brought out a small book. Shall I read it out? He said, yes. Then we asked him, have you met JK? Oh yes. Do you remember that experience, Swamiji? Oh yes. So Swamiji was telling, he was in Bombay. When Papa and Mataji were there, he had accompanied them. They were all staying in Naturbai's place. So one day Bhai came and told Swamiji, there is JK's lecture there, I'm going, are you coming? So immediately Swamiji went and asked Papa, Bhai is going for JK's lecture, can I go? Why not? Go. So he went there. What did you find, Swamiji, in JK's lecture? He went straight to the goal. So many people will not be able to appreciate that because they are all preconditioned with certain stages, steps. But in his case, it was a direct one. There is no intermediary there. Through reflection, he was able to reach. In his laboratory, there was nobody else. He was dissecting the personality, and after that, he could reach the core of the personality. And then the revealment came, and he started sharing that. Later on, of course, when the story also goes that when Mataji came to know they had gone for JK's lecture, she asked him, why did you go there? Then he said, why should I not go? No, when the Guru is here, why should you go to another Guru? Mataji also believes equality of all, but she was, as a mother, she was also a little reservation was there, because those who have met JK, they always go away from the traditional path. So she was worried whether Swamiji would also develop such tendencies. So the absolutely different, JK's, and when we were going through the old division, we used to find, Papa used to lavishly quote from JK also. And this is the only ashram where we can find a photo of JK. So the idea is, all saints are equally revered. Why? Because God chose them to reveal in their own way. And they have been instrumental in inspiring many ardent disciples or aspirants. And it's all giving them the benefit. Number one. Number two is, we will be open to everybody. Though we will be holding on to our own particular path, we will be with this idea. We would like to enjoy the unique way of presentation. And in our experience, what we have found is that from youth, when you go through any saint's words or life, we find that so many expressions are common. And when the same expressions are heard in a different way, we find joy in it. Even to a very great extent, we can say Ramana Bhagavan's. Bhagavan's approach also is very unique. And his answers used to be blunt. Somebody asked, when do we get over the otherness? He said, there is no otherness. If there is otherness, we should get over. There is no otherness. So when we try to understand Puja Mataji as an epitome or a personification of absence of otherness, and when we hear this, suddenly, we find joy in it. Here is a saint who has also reached the same, but expressing it in a different way, that's all. So as an aspirant, as a sadhaka, we find lot of food for thought from the different approaches. But care should be taken to see that let us not develop any craving for it. If it is needed, God will arrange. God will enable us to get in touch with such teachings. They would have written volumes, but a particular quotation of them, somehow they will make us to locate. And that will be an added boost to our sadhana. We don't have to go in search of it. Whatever is needed at that particular time, suppose we need some more amplification on that particular point, God who is seated within me, watching me, will definitely see to it that I am get access towards that. For example, we must have heard something about Kenopanishad many decades back. But when we happen to go through Omkarji Maharaj's prayer, suddenly there is a connection between that. The theme of Omkarji Maharaj's prayer and the theme of the first or second or third slokas of Kenopanishad, exactly the same. So when we want from our academic storing or memorizing it. First it comes as memorizing, We may not go deep within the theme. And later on we, just like the cows, when they go to the grazing yard, they collect so many things, eat so many things, keep it in them. And when they are back to the Goshala, they take it out, masticate, it's called mastication. And then slowly absorb what has been stored one by one. Similarly, the aspirants, when they are young, in their excitement, they will keep on gathering as many as possible which God facilitates them. They would not have done the reflection at that time. But again, God gives them again another opportunity for them to take one by one and then assimilate, masticate, assimilate, make a part of them. Then we all are okay. Papa used to freely quote from Bhaktottamas, Tukaram, Namdev, because it is a harmonious blend of Bhakti, Jnana and Karma. So all are equally respected. So as a student of Papa's philosophy, we should make a note of this. Though we don't keep on changing our approach every now and then, we should be firm in our own path, in our own ideal. But at the same time, we should have the broad-mindedness to accept the relevance of everybody. Because the whole universe is before us. There can't be one line of approach upon. Nobody can someone say this is the only one. So Papa, being a universalist, if that word can be used, he was able to accept the role of all teachers, saints and sages of different times and climes. They have all been able to inspire. They continue to inspire also. That is why when the idea of bringing out a monthly magazine called Vision welled up in his heart, in that first he said, this will be for universal love and service. And if we remember right, when Papa himself was the editor of the Vision, there was only one article of his. It went under the name of R, that's all. All other articles were from different Mahatmas. Only one single article. That also you will not find Ramdas, only R. That is why the legacy is still followed to some extent. We bring in the words of all masters. Because it is addressed to Papa's devotees, they might not have had the privilege of associating with him in closer quarter. So we bring out, the lead article will be Papa's, and some words of Papa, and then some words of Mataji, some words of Puja Swamiji, and there will be one poem of Papa, one letter from Papa, like that. Otherwise, the rest of the things are, say, for about 40% it will be covered from the ashram, 60% comes from outside. This was the idea, revering all saints. I did not go out, but many people, when they pass through, they come. Equal. The other day, one devotee from Manjeri who used to come, a regular visitor here, he was sharing. It was in 63. He was regularly going to Karnataka Ashram, Trichur, Ramakrishna Ashram. So the spiritual head was Swami Isharanji Maharaj, a very highly evolved soul. So this person asked him, is there any God realized saint anywhere in Kerala now? He said, yes, there is one. Before he drops the body, go there, in Kanyaghats, Papa Swami Ramdas. Then he said, he couldn't come. By July, Papa had already dropped the body. And in July he came. So he was remembering. So Ramakrishna Ashram, Papa doesn't go anywhere much. But somehow when he developed this, automatically he is also remembered by many. He had shared his meeting with Sri Anandamayima. Then we don't remember many of the words. Sattar, no? Many. And in ashram, we were maintaining it. Nowadays we don't. Number of saints, whenever they pass through, they come here, including Vinobaji. So that means when we develop, it is reciprocated. God in His own way does the reciprocation. As we all know, Ananda Ashram does have only a low profile. It doesn't publicize its activities. But in spite of that, many people, they hear about Papa, they hear about Mataji, they come here. On those days, they used to. Whenever anybody, even today, anybody passing through Kanyaghats, when they happen to know, they will come. So one of the greatest lessons we learn in search of Papa is we should develop equal respect. Equal respect not at the physical level, personal level. Fully recognizing that they had a specific role. And they are the chosen ones of God. They are to be respected. They have been instrumental in kindling innumerable aspirants in the Godward path. So we offer our respects to them. We keep our mind open to any teachings. Whatever is in line with our basic things, we can adopt. But we develop a sort of equal reverence for all saints. We will go to the next also. Traditional, non-traditional. That is another lesson we learn when we go in search of Him. At no point of time we develop, this is bad, this is not right, this is not. No. Everything is right, because everything is God's. He has chosen to take up a particular line for us, that's all. Similarly, He has chosen another particular line for somebody else. In the ashram trustee deed while farming, he has made it one of the conditions, objectives, that any bhajan group rendering, they should be given all help. Bhajans of anybody, bhajan group attached to anybody, any order. They should be given. Sadhus, they are to be taken care of. There is no discrimination, no labeling, these are people allowed, these are not people allowed. No. Everybody is given. When any saint comes, he will be requested to share some thoughts on sadhana from his standpoint. There may be some reason why God brought him here. There may be one or two points which may be useful for in our sadhana. That is how it is looked at. It is not that revering the saints only. So here he says, equal outlook for traditional and non-traditional approach. We have heard many Mahatmas, Bhaktotamas, who have through form have scaled the heights. Whether it is Purandardas, whether it is Tyaga Brahmam, whether it is Kururama in Kerala, whether it is Patanathari, anybody, Nayanar in Tamil Nadu. In every state, Namdev, Tukaram, Jnaneshwar, everywhere we find so many people have scaled the heights through dedication and devotion to a particular form. The only difference is, Papa says, Papa's approach is, or as we try to understand now, those Bhaktotamas, to them it was a 24/7 devotion. To them nothing mattered except Lord Krishna to Mirabai. All Bhaktotamas, to them 24/7, there was nothing else. Our devotion is part-time. So Papa has brought out an altogether different path. He is also a worshipper of God in form, but his forms are in the form of manifestation. Entire manifestation is God's form. That is why he names it as Parabhakti. Bhakti is not focused on a particular idol. All are. When somebody came and asked, where is the idol of Ram? All are idols, he said. So it is not that idol worship is not there. To him, he was not circumscribing to a particular form. Whereas we people, when we look at each and every deity as separate, and our devotion to a particular deity is only through that particular form. We don't become universal in our approach. When we say Balaji, we see only Balaji in Tirupati. When we say Guruvayurappan only in Guruvayur. When we say Shabarimala Ayyappan only in Shabarimala. Whereas they all represent the same principle which is all pervading. So Papa was trying to bring in this to our mind, that the entire manifestation is God's form. So it is not that form, we are worshipping on the formless. To reach that, probably inward journey is necessary, reflection is necessary, that we must find that God principle in us first. Then only we will be able to find the God principle in others. So first is we have to realize Him within and then without. This is proposal.